Streaming is complicated. Probably the most complicated skill set in the entire game. You are not going to learn how to stream overnight, over weeks, or even over months. So if you're new to the game or new to the skill set, don't be ashamed that you can't stream right away. You're not expected to at this stage, it's definitely not easy. I see lots of people searching up or asking how to stream, but they haven't even perfected the absolute basic skills in the game. Like how that guy with only 10 hours is asking, how do I stream? But they can't even do bursts. So here's my introduction on streams, and most importantly, how to learn how to stream, which is where most people get stuck. I want to talk about how I think you can effectively and efficiently learn how to stream, tackling almost everything you need to know and answering some very common questions or misconceptions with this topic. I've discussed some concepts briefly in the beginner mistakes video, but today I dive into streams specifically and not the problems with the jump one trick players, which stop them from even learning how to stream. So go ahead and watch that if you fit into that category, it's related to this video. You may have a lot of questions, put them down in the comments below and I'll use them as inspiration for the next part to this series later. But for today, I just want to focus on the core principles before diving into the harder stuff. Timestamps on the screen right now and in the description below, so let's go ahead and talk about what streams are. Quickly before we start, I just want to mention that not even 10% of my viewers are subscribed to my channel. This topic is split into a multiple part series, so be sure to subscribe to get notified about the next part to this series. Let's get back into the topic. Streams are mesmerizing. The consecutive hits of circles in a pattern that flows endlessly. It's incredible to see so many players hit those circles with such perfect timing and flawless precision. But at what point would you define a pattern being a stream? Well, there is no conventional OC dictionary, but hopefully this concept is the standard for the majority of people. Before we think about the long chain of circles, we have to first think about the short chain of circles. It's important to start from this simple form. As I've said many times, you can't run without first learning how to walk. That applies so well to streams. From the quote-unquote shortest chain of the spectrum, it starts with the 2-note doubles. For some, this is one of the most annoying patterns. It requires really good finger control. It's not a burst though. But if you add another circle, it becomes a 3-note burst, also known as triple burst. They first start at around the 3-star range. Add another circle, it's a 4-note burst or a quad. Another one, it's a 5-note burst or a quint. Adding another one all the way up until about 8 circles. These longer bursts start at around the 4-star range. So, bursts range from 3 to 8 notes inclusively. I sometimes call the higher end of this range prolonged bursts. Anything after that can be called a stream, which is in the middle of the spectrum. I used to say that streams start at the mid 5-star range, but actually streams can start at the high 4-star range. Whoops. The upper bound of a stream typically ends at around 32 consecutive circles. Beyond that point we can call it a death stream, where it requires a lot more stamina and a lot more tapping consistency than regular streams, hence the word death in it. You can actually find these at quite a lot of star ranges, because at lower star ratings we have low BPM death streams like 138 BPM, but at the higher star ratings we have higher BPM death streams ranging from 190 and beyond. Here's a summary table of the terms. So now the question is, where do you start? How do you learn how to stream? And the basic answer is, from the bottom and grind to the top. I just want to say that don't follow this video if you can barely do 3 stars since you're that new to the game. There's no point skipping to learn the streams if you've barely touched the game. So go ahead, explore the game for yourself, make sure you're able to at least FC something like high 3 stars or low 4 stars with good accuracy fairly consistently. I'm not going to hold your hand and tell you when you've done that, but you should be able to figure it out for yourself. Okay, so to better answer these questions, we must first consider streaming as an entire skill set. Skill sets consist of many subcomponents called skills, and allow me to break down the complex skill set of streams from my subjective understanding. Sure, you can probably think of many more, I certainly have in a previous video, but these should be able to present the streaming skill set as it is. Now I'll split them into 2 categories. These 3 are the fundamental skills, and the other 3 are beyond the fundamental skills. What do I mean by the fundamental skills in this particular skill set? Well, these are the skills that you must have a good base for to even learn how to stream. You don't gain anything by practicing the other 3, expecting to be able to stream afterwards. You must practice these 3 first and master them to actually learn how to stream. So, rhythm sense, accuracy and finger control are the skills that I'll focus on in this video to allow you to set a fundamental base and make the streaming journey a lot smoother. This is where you start and what you have to practice when you want to learn how to stream. How might you practice these skills? From the basic bursts. What? Why? I came here to learn how to stream, not how to burst? Well then let me ask you this. How can you hit streams with high accuracy without first learning how to hit bursts with high accuracy? That's where lots of people go quote unquote wrong. They think that to learn how to stream, you jump straight into streams, which is impossible for the majority of people. You'll have bad accuracy, you'll finger lock, you'll mash the keyboard. You don't have a good understanding of these skills which will allow you to stream. And that's where the idea of setting a fundamental base steps in. I've briefly spoken about the progression of the chain of circles from bursts to streams to death streams already. As you can see, bursts are the base of streams. It's like calling streams the evolved version or the extended version of bursts. They help you to practice the 3 fundamental skills that I mentioned earlier, because you're never going to be able to jump straight into hard patterns like streams. You have to ease yourself into it. How the general process goes is that you're slowly but surely mastering each part of the spectrum without missing anything. First it's the bursts, then it's the longer bursts, then it's the shorter streams, moving on to the longer streams, finally approaching death streams and extending it beyond death streams. So yes, to learn how to stream you must start by playing maps with bursts. So now that I've said that jumping straight into streams doesn't help, it naturally follows that actually the quote unquote stream practice maps don't help at all. What are stream practice maps? They're the ones with death streams in them. They tend to be unranked as well, but not always, i.e. the entire map is just a long ass stream of X BPM. It sounds counterintuitive, I know. Why the hell would stream practice maps not help? It literally has the word stream and practice in them. And of course I literally just explained why jumping straight into streams is bad already. Stream practice maps should be used as a benchmark tool, or used to practice tapping stamina and tapping consistency at the given BPM, which hey, as you might remember is over here, which is beyond the fundamentals of streams. Do not play stream practice maps with the belief that you are learning how to stream. You are not. This is only reserved for benchmarks or stamina and consistency training, which is beyond the scope of learning how to stream. Think of it as a reinforcement tool, not a learning tool. The maps you should actually practice are low star ratings, specifically starting from the 4-star range, an absolute godsend for bursts and longer bursts. That's where you can start. You can play most 4-star maps that aren't your 30-second Padaru Haramachi Clover, etc. But there are lots of maps in the description if you're lost. Though, certain 4-star maps are really challenging. They are made of only bursts and streams with nothing else. Sounds good in theory, but it's likely that your rhythm sense, accuracy or finger control is not good enough to play them. So what do? Well, there are many 4-star maps that have less bursts in them. They might also have jumps, and you'll find these in the rehab map pack that I made for the beginner jump 1 tricks. I made that pack because it slowly introduces the skill of bursts. These skills are not solely based on bursts or streams, they just happen to have a few of them, so you might want to play those before diving into the 4-star stream based maps. There are certain 4-stars that you shouldn't touch at all. Stuff like a full moon night is still a death stream map, and I've explained why jumping straight into streams or death streams is so bad already. And now at this point people might be asking, but Tony, it's only 138 BPM. That's slow, so why is it bad? I know I said start from the bottom and grind to the top, but that doesn't apply for the BPM. You don't start at 1 BPM and increase slowly from there. That would be silly. The same applies all the way up until about 160 BPM. Generally, if you play maps beyond 160 BPM for the purpose of practicing streams, then you're fine. I'll explain why that's the case in a minute. The problem with starting straight from the lower BPM side of things like a full moon night is that yes, it's technically low star rating, yes, it's playable for beginners, but you need really good finger control, rhythm sense and accuracy consistency. That's reserved for people with hundreds of hours. There are still A and B ranks on the leaderboards for a reason. So it begs the question, what BPM do you start at? Choose something comfortable where you have the raw agility to play it. You're not restricted to this range, but the typical standard is between 160 and 180 for the basic streams or bursts. Most people should have the raw agility to move their fingers that fast with decent control for a brief moment. You can't have mastered the basic triples on most higher BPM maps without that raw agility. If you go too low, you'll realise that you don't have good enough finger control, and if you go too high, then you'll realise that you can't tap that fast in the first place. Don't waste your time perfecting each BPM. It's like wasting your time perfecting skills that you don't have in the first place. You'll be able to stream at different BPMs with better rhythm sense. So for now, choose something that's natural and choose something that's comfortable. Now at this point, at around the high 4 stars and beyond in the basic stream maps, a lot of people ask me, Tony sir, I am overstreaming or understreaming at insert BPM. Or after 9 or 12 notes, my accuracy is so bad, how to fix please? Sorry to burst your bubble, but there's no secret behind it. There's no quick fix. Everyone has had this problem at some point. You just continue playing and it solves itself with time. That's where the hundreds of hours part comes in. Building rhythm sense only comes with time and experience. You're not good at piano overnight. Osu is a rhythm game after all, so we can compare it to a musical instrument because you need rhythm sense. The difference between people who can stream consistently and the person asking the question is that their playtime gap is huge. You need better finger control, better rhythm sense, better accuracy consistency. You just get better at it with time spent on the game. Once you have good rhythm sense, then you'll find it much easier to stream at any BPM if your raw agility allows it. The only thing that I can maybe talk about is paying attention to the hit error graph to see if you understream or overstream, and then consciously think about slowing down or increasing speed to match the BPM of the stream. You will eventually get used to the BPM and you end up doing it naturally, but believe me, you only do it with time, so be patient. Another question that I get asked a lot is, I'm tapping one more than I'm supposed to on the stream, how do I fix this? Or something related to that. Just continue playing the game. It's another one of those things that fixes itself on time and experience, nothing else. Oh, but my fingers somehow die after 8 notes, how do I tap more than 8? But bruh, you just do! You find a way, you play it, practice it again and again. Once your reading and understanding of the game gets a lot better over time, you naturally tap the correct number of times and all of your streaming related problems are resolved. Another topic I want to talk about is switches or keyboard or whatever. It doesn't matter. Yo, Editor Tony here, and I came in to say, that list is infinite tons of bullshit. Where the hell have they built that list from? Literally. Anyway, back to the video. Some people say mechanical switches are better, and in theory, that's true. The consistency of the key presses is better, there's no doubt about it. But it's not better to the point where it makes you instantly better at streams when switching to a mechanical keyboard. Don't use it as an excuse for your inability to stream. You don't need a mechanical keyboard. Of course it's nice, but just look at stuff like FG Sky's HDHR 8 miss on Songs compilation. The guy is playing on a fucking laptop with laptop keys. Take a look at Robloxo FCing We Love Llama with beer cans with what the fuck is that act? Don't blame your peripherals, blame your lack of skills, lack of understanding. Unless of course it's real issues like keyboards that are many years old and are double tapping or something like that. You naturally get used to whatever peripherals you have. Also a bit on polling rate. Higher polling rate sounds great in theory, but it's beyond the scope of learning how to stream. It becomes somewhat relevant at extremely high levels of play, with OD11 for example. That shit is like 3 digits minimum. Also just a note from me from my personal experience. For about 450 hours of my playtime, I never learned how to do longer streams because I kept finger locking with my particular tapping style. The reason for that is because when I tap, I keep my thumb on my index, so when I alternate my fingers, it looks like this. Very restricted mobility, so I spent even more time relearning how to tap in order to alternate better, and now I can freely move those fingers to stream. The important thing is basically it doesn't matter what fingers you use or how you use them as long as their movement is not restricted. So now this section of the video is dedicated to installing stream-based maps. Practice these kinds of maps if you're able to get high accuracy FCs on maps like the rehab maps, which aren't all streams, but they do have long bursts in them. It's a term that I use for maps that are mostly made up of streams or long bursts, with little to no involvement from other skills like jumps. If you find these hard, then I suggest that you don't prioritize practicing these. Practice maps that have longer bursts. Again, the rehab map pack is a good place to start. Okay, I'll show you how to install one of my favourite collections. First we head to this Reddit link. The link to the Stream Maps collection is going to be in the description down below. And then ah shit. The post was removed by Reddit spam filters. Well then. Oh never mind, there's a related video. I'll link you to that instead. I won't have to walk you through it because this video tells you all about it. But basically, you have to download the huge ass map collection, drag it into your Osu songs folder, and then follow the steps in the video for the collection manager tool. And hopefully you'll end up with a result just like this, where stream maps are sorted in collections. Obviously not all stream maps to have ever existed in Osu, but you can add other songs to the collection if you feel the need to. Again, practice these once you've mastered the burst from low star ratings, and then you're finally on the road to actually streaming. That's all I wanted to talk about for today. here's the basic overview. To learn how to stream, you start from the bottom and that's the bursts. Master them, get good accuracy on them, get FCs on them. Don't just mindlessly play them for no reason. Set yourself goals. Prove that you've learned the basic bursts by actually FCing maps with those bursts with good accuracy. 4-star maps are where it's at for now, and increase slowly from there. If you're finding some of them really challenging because they only have streams and long bursts, it's likely that your 3 fundamental skills for streams, rhythm sense, accuracy and finger control, are not good enough. Go ahead and play stuff that's similar to the rehab maps, where it more slowly introduces longer bursts, or even go back to lower star ratings to learn the basic skills in Osu. That's my introduction to streams, and next time I'll talk about the progression into the mid 5-star stream maps, where we are introduced to flow aim, stamina and much more for the first time. What you'll find in this series is that it follows a fairly linear progression. Streams get harder as star rating gets higher, so you have to progress through each star rating and master each star rating, which will eventually lead to the mastery of streams because you're ensuring that you're building good rhythm sense, good finger control, good accuracy and every other skill in the game. Alright, that's it from me. Definitely drop a comment if you have any other questions and problems, and I'll see if I can cover them in the next video. Hope you all found that introduction insightful and that a lot of misconceptions are cleared. If you did find it informational, then go ahead and hit the like button, and if you love informational videos, particularly the next part of the series, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.